Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Wild Sonnets Out Loud. My name is Nicholas Korn, and I am the poet of the Wild Sonnets. I've published 6 books of wild sonnets since starting this literary excursion 8 years ago. And every week I select 2 poems from the books in print and read them here. The first poem imagines that at the end of our lives, we have to give everything back to the elements from which we borrowed them, a dismantling of the self in all its aspects that understands that life inherits back all it gave us while alive. With that said, from the second volume, here is Wild Sonnet 149. I will give my heart to winter, since only cold will keep. My soul I'll trundle to the sea, which plummets only half as deep. This reluctant body I bequeath to earth, which wished it was a thing of air, while in the cabinets of the wind I'll set, all my unnumbered senses will forget. I give these blessings back as they were lent, but for a calendar of thought and thanks, a cloak and compass, guide and garment both, to mark my long illumined way between 2 darks. All I have borrowed now receive into the elements from which they came, with little left, except a notion and a name. And that was Wild Sonnet 149 from the Wild Sonnets, Volume 2. The next selection is from the 4th volume in the series. A friend of mine once told me it was her favorite from this book, and I always enjoy reading it out of gratitude to her. With that as a prologue, here is Wild Sonnet number 388. I do not suppose my solitary self to be a fragment. Do not a bit believe pain's mean and gleaming razor has ever sliced away the least of what I know I am. Dent and damage cannot undo me, pierce or pummel me, compress or pull. I can feel the depth of it and still be full. I can carry sorrow 1,000 miles it takes to bring it home. I can tether joy, though not enough to make it stay, but closer for the while, until it flies away. The little of the ground that's mine revolves between both dark and light, and in the middle might burn twice, with desolation and delight. And that was Wild Sonnet 388 from the Wild Sonnets, Volume 4. I hope you've enjoyed these 2 poems featured in this reading. If you're interested in seeing some of the new poems I have written for the Wild Sonnet series, you'll find a link for that in the text section of this post. And if you're interested in the books featured in this episode, that link will get you to the bookstore as well. It's easy enough to remember. It's www.wildsonnets.com. And finally, I just want to thank you for watching. I'll be back in 7 days or less to share 2 more wild sonnets from the 6 books in print. By the way, there's a 7th book coming in August. If you're interested, go ahead and subscribe to this channel because I will be reading from the new book once it's out. That being said, I will see you in a week. Until then, stay wild and stay well.